right. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Derrick. Excited to welcome you to the first episode of these Facebook Lives. Just to recap, for those of you who don't know, I was recently at a conference or seminar, whatever you want to call it, and one of my friends challenged me to do a Facebook Live every day for 30 days. So I figured today would be a great day to kick it off. We'll do it for the month of April. And if you have any questions, be sure to post them below. And I'd love to get to any of those questions you have, whether we're doing it live here or in the next episodes. Again, these are going to be pretty short, so I will do my best to get to those questions in real time, especially if there's somebody live. Hey, what's going on, Ryan? Thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. And let's see. I think I got this new app. It's super cool. Tell your friend thanks. Yeah, right. Thank you. I'm trying not to be nervous, but I don't know. I get all nervous and sweaty and stuff. So I'll take a drink, calm down a little bit. So anyway, so for the live, so today what I want to do, I want to recap what we're doing, the hope with all of this, and then go through some different tips. The first question I want to get to is how to start a business, was what somebody else asked. And that's Ryan. You want to go somewhere else? You're the one here tonight, so let's do this. That video at the beginning, that actually is my wife's truck. It's called Old Gray. Actually, her grandfather bought that brand new way back in the day and has since given it to us. So that's a cool thing. I just made that video for fun. It has no purpose other than to, cool way to start the show. So anyway, so episode 1. So what I'm going to get into is how to start a business. So basically, I'm going to tell you the two things. First is Google it. And the reason why I say that is because, there's going to be all kinds of great tips and tricks on how to get started with a business, all kinds of lists. I did it myself to check that out. But what I want to do is share with you my story, how I started my business, and then you can kind of backfill, fill in the gaps as far as what makes sense for you. So let's see. Back in 2008, my wife and I recently married and moved to Montana, and I had no work, no job, nothing. And so we were kind of looking for what to do, and that was at the height of the economy collapse in the States. So basically, we were newly married, a baby on the way, and I had no work. So we were a little bit desperate. I actually ended up trying a few different things. I tried a few different agencies, trying to get my foot in the door, and there was just nothing available. Now, prior to this, I should probably step back a little bit. When I was in college, I landed some pretty killer internships. The first one was for a really small design agency, just a couple people there, and I literally sat right next to the senior designer and just watched everything that he did. So I already had some skills going into the marketplace between that and my college classes. And then I landed a bigger internship because of those skills at an agency where we worked with clients like MTV and Netflix and Nintendo and Lexus and Nickelodeon, like some really big names. And that's how I started out, just kind of understanding what was possible in the design world. So when we moved from Washington back to Montana, there was obviously nothing like that here. So I kind of had to start my own business. So for many of you who have enough skills that you're kind of ready to make that career shift, or maybe I guess start off on your career to begin with, it can be a little daunting, a little scary to know what to do. So that's why I say Google it first. And the reason why is because any of the tips and advice I give you, obviously we've learned some things the hard way. And so I don't want you to have to go through those mistakes, but I'll tell you what I did. And then again, double check what the Googs says, right? See what's important there. Let me catch my breath real quick. Thanks, Ryan. I'm a good man. How to start a business. All right. So, let's see. Where did we leave off here? We moved back to Montana, and I went to actually the local college here. It's a 2-year college, and got my foot in the door. I think I was 23, maybe 24, 23 at the time, I think. And luckily, I had been designing enough that they hired me as an adjunct professor. So that's how I continued to refine my teaching skills, continued to refine my design skills, and just trying to make something happen. And then at the same time, again, there was like nothing to do. So we started picking up little projects. And that's what I think most people want to know, like, how do you even get that little project? And honestly, it was family and friends. Just tell them, hey, I'm a designer. I can make you a logo for your business, and I can make you a website or whatever it was. And one project, each project kind of built on itself to where we had some momentum. So when we first started, like the very first project, I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was a logo for a family member. And so they were kind of guiding us. They owned a business. So they were kind of coaching us on, okay, well, you need to send us an invoice and you need to do this and that. I was like, well, what's an invoice? How do I make an invoice? So again, that's why I'd go back to Google these days and just see what that says. But before we got too far down the road, we met with a lawyer and we met with a CPA to understand both the legal aspects of what we were getting into as well as the financial aspects. So that was probably the best money ever spent. My roommate in college, he started his business, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he told me he spent like $15 online, looked up how to get a business license. He started an LLC, and super cheap. And I didn't have enough confidence in myself to do that and not get myself in trouble. So that's why I went with the lawyer route. And because our lawyer was like $200 an hour or something insane like that, we were like, okay, let's get in and get out real quick and get the answers we needed. So when we were there, the very first question he asked was like, well, okay, so what's your business name? I was like, oh crap. I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't know. I don't even know what to do. So we found out that we could use my personal name. So it was Derrick Mitchell Design, which I hated the whole time because it was never supposed to be about me. I wanted to help my clients and wanted to do something cool and great with that. But that's how we started, was just Derrick Mitchell Design LLC, because legally we could get away with that. So without having researched if we were infringing on somebody else. What's up, Dustin? What version of Adobe did you start using? I'll get to that in just a second. So let me catch my breath again. Man, I talk so fast and I hold my breath. You guys are scary. This is going to be good practice, 30 days of this. It'll be exciting to see if I get any better at this after 30 episodes. Oh, okay. Where were we at? We were at the lawyer. That's right. Okay, so let's see. We signed our paperwork, and he set up the LLC for us, filed our papers with the state and all of that good stuff, so we could legally be doing business. Plus, that protected us and our assets. So if anybody sued me for not doing something right or whatever, the worst they could do is take anything our business owned, which at the time was like a laptop. So it protected us from losing, personal assets like vehicles and a house and all that kind of stuff. So then we met with our CPA, which is a certified public accountant. I don't even remember. But basically the person who helped us with our money part of things helped us know how much money to save for taxes, how to pay the correct things, and what to do. So legally we weren't in trouble there. However, the irony in that is our first CPA kind of sucked and we didn't know it. And we found out later, this was after we did our taxes, like third year, I don't remember. Apparently we'd been doing some stuff wrong and found out that we owed an extra $10,000 that we had not saved up for. So that hurt us pretty bad. And we are since doing business with a new CPA. But that's an exact reason of why it's so important that when you step out to start asking those questions. So for those of you who maybe you're not quite there yet, like you maybe have a logo or a friend who needs a website or something simple, I would say start small. And where we're at, I don't know if this is a federal, for all across the U.S. or if it's just state by state, but I think it was about $600. Anything you make more than $600, you have to claim it as income. So, oh man, I catch my breath again, guys. Sorry. All right. So anyway, if you make more than $600, and again, don't quote me on this. This isn't legal advice because it's probably changed. And that's why we have important people like CPAs and lawyers that we pay a bunch of money to tell us the right answers. But again, if you start small and you're making a couple $100 on a project here and there, all you have to do is claim that through your drawing a blank social security number. You don't have to have an EIN number or the business setup or anything. You can just claim it on your personal taxes. So that might be a way to get your foot in the door and just kind of start doing those types of things. Let's see. How do you write off things you use for business? That's a great question. I never took it further. Okay, so it's on a case-by-case situation, and my wife is actually the one that helps us tremendously with our books, so what we can write off and what we can't, and she also meets with our CPA. So basically, I go spend the money, and I don't know what happens after that. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that far from the truth. So depending on if it's equipment related, mileage for when you're driving, actually something we can do. So with our house, we have a couple different office spaces set up, and you can actually claim. So I'm not going to try and do math live here, but let's say you've got a 1,000 square foot house and 500 square feet of that is your office and dedicated only to your office. You can use that as a tax write-off as well. And you can also write off. So for a while, we actually had a Main Street address. So when I drove from my house, which is my home office, to the downtown office, I could write off mileage both ways. So, and I think it was like 30 cents a mile or something like that. But at the end of the year, when you claim that with receipts and all that kind of stuff, in fact, they have apps now where you can track that. As soon as it starts moving, it says, hey, you want to track this mileage? At the end of the year, when you do that, you can actually get a lot of money back in savings. So, but as far as how to write that off, exactly. Again, I'm going to kind of avoid that a little bit. I'd talk to Google about that a little bit, see what Google recommends, and then find yourself a good attorney who can help navigate that in a CPA as well. But know that that's there. That's one of the huge benefits of having an LLC is everything you do, even business meetings. So when we meet with a client at Starbucks or at a coffee shop somewhere, I could buy them a drink and it would be a business write-off. And basically at the top, you had to write who the meeting was with, what you talked about, the date, that kind of stuff. And I feel like there was a percentage of what we could write off and what we couldn't as far as how many times. But again, I don't totally trust the advice we got back in the day because that kind of bit us in the butt. So again, just double check when you get into that kind of stuff and make sure that you're legally covered. But I don't want that to be a roadblock for you guys getting started if you're looking to jump out and do your own thing. For me, we just figured it out in time. The first thing I would do is set up your business structure, get an LLC set up or something, look at what's going to be a good fit for you, just so at the very least, if something happens, you're protected, vehicles are protected, things like that. And again, just to reiterate, I think online, if you just search for it, you can do it yourself with like LegalZoom or something like that for like, I don't know, $15, $50, something in there. It's not that expensive. Thanks, Dustin. $10.99. Yeah. So, what else was I going to tell you? I mean, I think starting a business seems like, at least for me, my parents always had jobs. I'd never really been around, self-employed people that much. I guess my grandparents were, but that aside, my wife's parents have owned multiple businesses. So when we got married, they kind of helped guide us through that as well. And so I think it can be this mystery, especially if you haven't had that in your life. But honestly, starting a business is kind of just like deciding, I'm starting a business. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to sell these services or these goods or whatever, and just kind of going for it. So, I mean, you could take it much further than that. And in college, we learned, all the business planning and marketing and all the business plans that you have to make to do it the way that you're supposed to do it. But anymore, I mean, get a laptop, get your software, find somebody who'll pay to do it. And I mean, you're off and running. So I wouldn't let that slow you down. Any other questions, guys? I'm gonna catch my breath. So for those of you who watch this after the fact while it's not live, I'll leave it up on our Facebook group channel. Go ahead and ask those questions down below, or maybe even comment if some of you have started a business, what the process has been for you, any resources you might have in the process would be super helpful. And I'll probably go back through and ask my wife questions that I should know. It's embarrassing. What else? How are you guys doing? How are and you can comment below again if this isn't live for you. What are you guys working on? What kind of projects are you working on? Do you have anybody who's looking to pay you for anything yet? Have any of you guys made any money on this yet, or is it still kind of the hope to get there? Ryan, working on starting on screen printing. Oh, that's awesome. I'd ink that, or a dynamic ink. Definitely I'd ink that, I think. I just met a screen printer, actually. His name is Austin. This is at this conference. I'm trying to remember what he had a great name. Let me look him up real quick. Give me just a second here where you guys can think of more questions to ask. It was really good. It was Ink Theory. Get Ink Theory. You guys can check him out on Instagram. So it's at Get Ink Theory. Let's see if that's any help. If you can see that at all. Not so much. Okay, well, anyway, I tried. Anyway, cool guy. So he just started some stuff, and they're actually working on doing a mobile situation too, where they go to events and actually print on demand, which is a cool idea. Everybody wants things for free. So you got to start somewhere. Let's see. And at the same time, if you're busy doing something for free, then you're too busy when the good stuff comes along. So know when to say no to. We went through that quite a bit. In fact, we still go through that a lot. The way that I handle that, let's see, let me think of a good example. So let's say somebody asks you, hey, can you make my, and let's say it's a friend or family member, somebody who knows what you do, and they are kind of expecting you to hand it out. A couple ways you could handle that, and it depends on the family member, I suppose. Some of them, you probably would do anything for. It's not a big deal. Plus, it kind of helps give you experience. But what I would say is, Oh yeah, that sounds great. Let's schedule a meeting so we can talk about everything you need, and then I can get back to you with what it will cost, right? And so that's a simple way to, by throwing the word cost out there, it lets them know, like, even if it's a discounted cost, I can't wait to meet with you. Yeah, let's schedule a meeting. I really want to talk to you about what all you need, and do some what we call discovery, and find what exactly, you might think you need a website, but really you need, something else. So yeah, I want to meet with you. Let's schedule a meeting. Let's do a quick half-hour meeting. It shouldn't take long. And then that way I can get back to you with a proposal on what we can do and how much it'll cost. And that way they know immediately, like, this isn't a freebie kind of a situation. And then if they say, oh, well, I was hoping you'd hook me up, do it for free. And again, depending on the friend, maybe you say, sure, whatever. Maybe say, I can't really do it for free, but I can definitely give you a huge discount if you're up for it. So let's go ahead and meet up, and I'll give you some numbers. And if it doesn't fit, or if it's not on your budget, then you can wait till maybe your budget improves, or I can recommend some other people who might be able to hook you up. So that's the most politically correct. No, that's not the right way to say it. That is the most. Man, I'm losing my words. This is what happens, guys. I still have a full-time job, so I come home at night and I'm still pretty toasted mentally. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But anyway, that's been the best way that I've found to help kind of let people know that you definitely want to help them out, hook them up, whatever, but you value your time and you don't work for free. Does that help? Dynamic ink. Is that what you're going to go with, Ryan? Oh, wait, just kidding. Dusty, I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. Dustin asked that. Yeah, okay. Let's see, what else? Any other questions, guys? I don't want to linger on too long here. I do want to make this enough value that you guys like this. Oh, okay, so let's wrap it up. We'll wrap it up with this unless there's any other questions. So if you guys want to, you can follow me at dmitchelldesign on Instagram, and I'll be posting there more, kind of gearing it more towards the students and stuff, and you can kind of see some of the behind the scenes of what I've got going on. And then also, I just started a brand new YouTube channel that I'm hoping to ramp up here. I'm considering reposting these videos for you guys on that YouTube channel in its own section, so we can replay those Facebook Lives. And then I'm also looking at posting these on the group, in the on the bootcamp course in like a bonus section. So those students who haven't been able to get into the group yet will be able to kind of catch up and see things as well. We'll post the first few, and then I might keep the rest of them private, just again as a special thank you to those who have joined the group and are a part of this community. So I'd ink that, I think. Yeah, I like that too. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to do this again every night. The time will probably vary. I've got family, and again, it depends on their needs and what's going on. But I'm going to shoot for 6 p.m. every night. That seems to be a good window that I can jump on here, get some questions answered, and share some feedback. So I hope you enjoyed that. Looking forward to tomorrow. And if you have any other questions, just post them down below. I'll jump into the feed later this evening, and if I can answer those questions, I will. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks, guys.